Hey everybody, coming up on Sports Central, the latest and greatest in Central Florida sports. We have some special guests. Roy Fuoco from the Ledger, Tyler Hilgers from, where? Oh, well, you never heard of him? The Lancers Rugby Football Team. Check it out. Coming up next, Sports Central. Hey everybody, welcome to Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, to your left on your television viewing screen, we have Gerald Richardson, scratch golfer, former executive director of the First Tee of Lakeland, but now with Polk County Sports Marketing. Gerald, good to see you.
Hey, glad to be here. Glad to be here. This first segment brought to our friends, by our friends over at Hall Communications.
Well, you know, I thought you just said bar friends. We were talking earlier before we went on the air, and I can't hear a doggone thing. I forgot my hearing aid here. I'm deafened this year. Can't hear out of that one. I'm kind of, you know, in a tough spot. Anyway, hey, we have a great show coming up, everybody, and a great way to kick it off is with a guy that knows just about everything that there is to know about Central Florida sports. You've seen him before. You've heard him on radio and all of that fun stuff. What's his name? Roy Fuoco. So, Mr. Roy, it's great to see you again.
Yeah, good to be back.
Yeah, I think the last time I saw you was at the Hall of Fame and All Sports Awards back in June. So you've been a busy man.
Yeah, it was great that we were able to do that this year. It's always a great event, and I know people missed it last year when we couldn't do it because of COVID.
Yeah, a lot of folks wanted us to hold it, and we thought in the interest of our local community and so on, we take the conservative route and pulled it off this year with roughly 700 and some people in attendance. And a lot of surprises, but a lot of talent that was showcased throughout the course of the year, and we expected to win some awards.
Yeah. So it's now we're back for another year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it too. Let's talk a little bit about football. Lake Gibson took down Lakeland, which, you know, you're sitting here 5 years ago, what? There's no way that's possible. It happened, 38-22 or something.
38-32, and it was, on the one hand, it wasn't as close because when Lake Gibson had a 2 or 3 touchdown lead for most of the game. Once they kind of got the lead, Lakeland scored the first drive of the second half. And then Jalen Glover rushes for like a 60-yard touchdown run, and it's it's up a 2-score game again. And then they got another touchdown on a drive that Lakeland stopped Lake Gibson 3 times on 3rd down, a penalty, the punt hit a Lakeland up back, and then another penalty. It kept those drives alive, and Lake Gibson goes ahead. So you think the game's over, and then Lakeland scores, gets 2 onside kicks. And it's the 1-score game with Lakeland having possession in the final, minute and having a chance to maybe pull off a dramatic comeback. And then the quarterback on 4th down gets tripped up before he gets the first down, and so that's the game. But it was an exciting game, and I'm not too sure what anybody can take out of it if they play in the playoffs, because certain things happen in that game that you just can't depend on. So, but the ending certainly lived up to the billing.
Yeah, that was a wild game. I had the fortune of being there, seeing the game, and it was kind of that second touchdown with the the guy coming in motion and hits the Lakeland guy, and Lake Gibson picks it up, and boom, it's 14-0 before people could hardly sit down. But with that result, what does that mean for Lakeland? What does that mean for Lake Gibson moving forward? As their path towards the playoffs? How does that affect both teams?
Well, Lake Gibson's now in control of its destiny as far as winning the district title. They still have to play Bartow. Bartow's in the district, and it's tough. But if Lake Gibson wins out, they'll be the district champions. I'm guessing Lakeland and Bartow will make the playoffs. They don't now. The district runner-up doesn't automatically go like like it used to be. They're back to using the power ratings, which came out for the first time, but probably 2 weeks too early because it's really inaccurate right now. But I would suspect that Lakeland and Bartow both make the playoffs, and then then they'll be seeded, and so I wouldn't be surprised if Lakeland and Lake Gibson play in the playoffs. They did back in like 05 and 06, 2 years in a row. They were in the same district, and Lakeland won the district both times, but they ended up meeting in the playoffs, and Lakeland won again both times. So, so they get, they'll probably have the home field advantage. Lake Gibson will have the home field advantage if that does happen. So now if Bartow pulls off an upset somewhere along the way, then it could be wide open.
Well, if you take, Roy, if you take a look at the county as a whole, what are the biggest surprises you see out there, or have you seen, I should say?
Well, Auburndale coming back to be 3-0, that's a nice story. I'm going to see them tonight against Bartow. Their quarterback, Zach Tanner, threw for like 3,000 yards 2 years ago at Discovery. The first half of last year was just a mess. I think COVID really hurt the quarterbacks because they didn't have spring practice, they didn't have the summer to have the workouts they normally do with their with their receivers, and doing a lot of 7-on-7 and that sort of stuff. And there was at least 3 quarterbacks last year that I expected to have better seasons who didn't, and I think you could point it to that. Now this year, Tanner is like 802 yards in 3 games, so he's on pace for like 2,500 yards, and so Auburndale didn't look good in the spring against Ridge, but they missed time because of COVID, so I didn't really know what to expect from them, and so Auburndale is a good story right now, and then Fort Meade in the small school, they lost to a very good Champagnat Catholic. I don't know if I pronounced that right last week, but Fort Meade looks like they might be back to when they were a consistent, 1A power. So, we'll see how they play Victory tonight, and then Lakeland Christian next week. So, should be a couple of good tests for them.
Obviously, anybody who knows is familiar with Polk County football realize the number of state championships has been produced throughout the county. With this year, I know we're 5 games in or so, not quite, but. What does that look like? Do you see any teams that are gearing up towards building the rest of this season and potentially being able to make a run?
Well, at the beginning of the year, we have a lot of sister papers in the Gannett chain, and all us high school writers made predictions for the year, and I said Lake Gibson's going to win the title. So I guess I can stand by that. They have some question marks still on defense that I'm kind of wondering about, but they certainly have the talent. If everybody stays healthy to make a run. Fort Meade will learn a little bit more about in the next couple of weeks to see if they're a legitimate shot, and Lakeland Christian the same thing because they're off to a nice start. I'm not too sure if they have a state championship run in them yet. We'll kind of find out a little bit more of them in the next couple of weeks. And same thing with Lake Wales. I mean, they got Lakeland handled them 2 weeks ago, but that wasn't surprising because there was just a big overmatch on the offensive and defensive lines. But in their own classification, I think Lake Wales will make some noise. State title, probably not, but I think they can make a deep playoff run.
Yeah, obviously everybody, football on our brains. It is the middle of September, 3rd week in September. High school has other sports in the fall. Tell us what some of the standouts are right now.
Well, in cross country, the girls' side is pretty interesting. You have Crystal Gomez. She's running for Lake Wales this year. She had been at Frostproof, and this is like the 7th year I'm covering her because I've covered her since she's been in the 6th grade and always been a top runner. And she's a 2-time defending champion, and she's off to a strong start. And then Jenkins is strong with Kaylee Malik leading. She should be leading them. And then McKeel girls with Emma. I think I'm pronouncing her name right. Nales Torchio. She's leading a really good McKeel girls team. So the girls side is real competitive in cross country. Just about all the top boys runners graduated last year, except for maybe Isaac Morrison from McKeel, Landon Morales, who was Lake Wales' number 4 runner last year. He was expected to be their number 1 runner this year, but he's been hurt. So the boys is a little bit down this year in cross country, but like I said, the girls remains pretty strong. Like I said, Gomez she has a good chance of like a top 10 finish, which would be great for her.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. What else you got going on, in high school?
Next week we have the Ridge meet, which is the east side of the county, and then the Lakeland City meet for swimming.
Okay.
So we'll kind of get a look at how the swimmers are doing. The top swimmer back is, Mary Lee Hardman from Lake Wales, who won 2 state titles last year. They were the first state titles from a Polk County boy or girl swimmer since 2000 or 2001 when Ashley Schaefer won it for Lake Wales, and Ashley is Rod Schaefer's daughter.
Yeah.
She's back. She's just a sophomore. So we'll kind of get a look at her as far as how she's improved this year, and that's kind of be one of my big focuses on the next couple of weeks. Wow. And then Lakeland on the girls' side for swimming, I think is strong again. And then we get volleyball, which Winter Haven. There'll be a good brother-sister matchup in the district tournament probably in a couple of weeks when in Class 6A, Dylan Seacrest coaches Winter Haven, and his sister Dana coaches Lakeland, and those are probably the top 2 teams in the county, and they'll probably end up battling each other for the district championship in a couple of weeks. So wow. That'd be kind of interesting to watch going forward.
Awesome.
Yeah. You look at high school sports and the plethora of sports, and then you multiply that times the number of teams and athletes and so on and so forth. So you got a huge job. I mean, that's got to be tough to follow.
Well, this year, like I said, with the boys cross country, all the top runners graduating, so you're kind of learning more. In football, that sort of happened with a lot of top playmakers graduating last year, except for Jalen Glover from Lake Gibson is back. So he should get reach 5,000 yards this week, and now it'll be the countdown to see if he could be I think the 4th runner to reach 6,000 yards. And if he reaches he should reach 1,000 yards this week too. So if he reaches 1,000 yards in 4 games, 2,000 yards, another 1,000 yards definitely is in the cards.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty amazing, Roy. Thanks truly for your insights. It's always a pleasure to, and I always learn something. It's just like, gee, I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. So you keep going and keep up the great work that you do for the Ledger.
Thanks.
We're certainly happy to have you on board and the Ledger as a partner. So, that's some great stuff, everybody. And speaking of great stuff, and Roy was talking a little earlier about some cross-country action. Well, the largest cross-country event in the state is held right here in Polk County out at Holloway Park, FloridaRunners.com. Check this out, everybody. We'll be back with more right after this.
The course will be open for warm-up until 3:20, 10 minutes before the beginning of our very first event. That is the boys JV and boys.
Let's go, boys! Let's go, Max! This is the 20th annual Florida Runners Invitational here at Holloway Park. It's a big event for all cross-country athletes out here all over the state. About 5,000 athletes, 200 teams from all over the state coming together to run on the notoriously difficult Holloway Park course here in Polk County. The company I work for, Flow Sports, we put on this event 20 years ago. The founder of FloridaRunners.com, Jason Byrne, he started this event with the pure intentions of giving, an event for athletes to really come and enjoy and remember for years to come. So as the editor for Florida Runners, it's awesome to see these athletes, cover them, take photos of them, and get their interviews, really let them cherish the moment that they're having here.
started the event years ago in Winter Haven and partnered with Polk County Sports Marketing on that first 3 years. Back then I was Polk County Community College. We had 450 athletes the first year, up to 4,500 this year. So, 10 times where we started. So obviously it's getting bigger and better every year, and kids have a blast. And that's the important thing. They had fun the first year and they have fun in year 20. I love Holloway Park. I was part of some of the people who originally came out here when it was nothing but a grass field. And from that day, walking with Ed Holloway and Mark and some of the other folks around here, we saw the potential. And so, for many years we were over in Titusville, and I kept my eye on Holloway because I knew one day it was going to be ready and it was going to be one of the premier cross-country courses in the country. And it is that today, and I love it. I've loved to see the evolution, and it's going to just be better every year.
It's a true cross-country course. There's no asphalt or concrete. It's pure hills and sand, even some tree branches mixed in there. It's groomed to be one of the best courses in the state of Florida.
Yeah, this course, Holloway Park, it's very challenging. You got the roller coaster hills beyond, and quite a few tight turns. These guys definitely want to take the corners right, but for the most part, again, it's a challenging, true 5K. I like to say it's probably one of the truest courses in the state of Florida. So they're getting that full competition here.
It's not every day that you have an event, not only this large, but this impactful in the community to be in your community. You're getting to see athletes from all ages and really put their heart and soul out into something that they do. If you're at a community like this, it's something that's moving, and it's something that will inspire you to maybe get involved. But it's something to be a part of within the community to celebrate these kids and to celebrate their efforts that they're putting in every day.
Impact that this meet has for Polk County is huge. I mean, we are centrally located in the state, so anytime that we can host a major event like this, especially in the running world, just really, I think it preaches to how proud Polk County is and what we can do for major events like this. So, anytime we're bringing in thousands of people, it's great for the city, great for the county itself. We're filling hotels and just showing people what Polk County has to offer here in Lakeland. So, Holloway Park is bringing major events, and we want to continue to do that.
I think that we want to grow the event. We'd love to see more out-of-state teams come in. We'd love to keep growing the college and middle school divisions. We've seen how Flyra has blown up the other event here at Holloway, and we want to keep that momentum going with this event. And I think we can get to 6,000 runners, and I'd love to see that in the next couple of years.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Mark Jackson here along with my co-host, Mr. Gerald Richardson.
Yeah, glad to be back. This segment 2, brought by our friends over at the Hilton Garden Inn here in Lakeland, over by the Lakeland Linder International Airport.
Absolutely, working on some deals right now. Let's see if generate a little more business out there, at least in terms of charter or commercial flights. So I know that Gene Conrad has been a busy man. So anyway, great folks out there at the airport. And speaking of great stuff, or great folks, I should say, Sport of Rugby is headquartered, USA Rugby, that is, the Olympic Committee's national governing body of the sport, in Boulder, Colorado. Rugby's been real popular in Colorado for years and years and years. But here in Polk County, rugby has taken off. and we have some real talent here. And you know, right, if you take a look at rugby, there's a lot of big concentration on the east side of the coast of the United States, California as well, some of the western states. But right here in Polk, we have a special guest joining us, Tyler Hilgers. And I said, now if you're German, you're going to say it one way. If you're just like regular commoner like me, you're going to say it another way.
Yep, that's good. Tyler Hilgers.
Okay.
It goes both ways, yes, sir.
All right. Well, Tyler, thanks for joining us. And you know, I've always enjoyed watching rugby. You know, it takes leather balls to play rugby. That's what the theme was out in Aspen, Colorado when I lived out there. And then this was back in the 70s, late 70s. You know, rugby was really popular. But it's popular here now in Polk, and you're part of a big initiative here, the Lancers Rugby Club. Tell us a little bit about the club itself.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Lancers, we started back in 2017, so it's just been a few years now, but it's grown tremendously. And really, Florida rugby, I played since I was 13 back in Daytona Beach, and that's exploded. There were guys that I grew up playing with that play internationally. They play for Team USA, and Florida's definitely done a great job in promoting an environment of fierce competition, and then at the club level, which is what the Lancers play, awesome community too. So some of my best friends now at Lakeland, especially since graduating college, have been from this rugby team. A lot of the stuff I get to do outside of just my day-to-day of work is charity with the team. It's hanging out like tonight. We're going to go out to Keel and Curly and hang out over there in Plant City and just hang out. You know, just a bunch of guys that we like to work out, we like to hit each other. We also like to have a good time, and we like to.
Wait a minute, we got to back up here on me now. I just like, so Keel and Curly is sort of a wine type place, right? And so we got rugby players at a winery.
Sure. Yeah, it's really incredible. The diversity of guys that we get on our team and that rugby attracts is just, I think it's one of the coolest parts of the sport, because like football, it's fiercely competitive, and you know, it definitely takes an edge, and I think you can start anywhere, but you're going to get some bruises, you're going to get some bumps after each game. But yeah, I mean, certainly we've got a lot of guys that I go to church with. We've got guys that, you know, are serving every day at non-for-profits. We've got guys that, you know, are a little bit mean, you know, and they're in the gym every day.
That's the sport of rugby.
That's right. It's anybody and everybody.
Awesome. Speaking of your club, I know you talked about you were there when it started in 2017. What have you guys progressed to? I know when you started, obviously you had, you know, just a few guys who wanted to get the club together and get going. What has it grown into now, number of players, and then also continuing growing? What do you foresee you guys continuing your continued growth to evolve into, and then also to play onto that, anybody who wants to get involved, how can they get involved?
Absolutely. So anyone is always welcome. We get a lot of our recruits through just Facebook, through Instagram. So looking up the Lakeland Lancers Club, Rugby Football Club, you can find us on any social media. We have a website. That's where we get a lot of guys, and then really just word of mouth. So I've had probably 5 or 6 friends join the team the last 2 years now, and those are 5 or 6 new players that they're some of our best players now. A lot of them were previous athletes, but some of them have no athletic experience. So guys that haven't played a sport since elementary school, coming out, trying it for the first time, now being a year or 2 in and being one of our best players, just because they've been dedicated, fell in love with the sport, learned quickly. So that's just a little bit of, you know, how we've gained guys. But we started with, I think it was 4 players before I was even on the team. It was this guy Mixon, and then shortly after him, this guy Doc, JD, a couple of guys that just got together, grew the game to 10, 15 in the first year. And since then, you know, we've had anywhere from 50 to 60 guys in a year, but consistently at you know, we'll do 2 practices a week. We'll have about 20 to 30 guys on a Tuesday or Thursday. Some days are lighter, you know, if it's the off season, which is what we're in right now, but it really starts to ramp up since you play with 15, so you really do need a good amount of guys to be a competitive club.
In the Olympics, rugby was, I don't think full squad. Wasn't it 7-on-7?
Sevens. Yes,
You
sir.
know, so you had the sevens in the Olympics, which is, you know, just be included in the Summer Olympic Games is huge.
Yeah.
Divisions, you know, you look in, and I'm obviously thinking about the elite, but you know, you guys are up there too. If you're playing a club sport of rugby, you know, you can't be a hack, you know,
Sure.
but you can get involved.
Yeah.
A lot of the growth in any sport comes from youth, you know, and then they work their way up like you did in Daytona, and so on. What type of offerings do you guys have or foresee having in the future when it comes to either older guys like me or younger kids.
Yeah, absolutely. So I agree. I mean, the best clubs in the state of Florida, Tampa, Miami, Daytona's up there as well. Some of those clubs are clubs that have had youth programs for years and years and years. So that's definitely a dream of ours, is to field a youth team. For the meantime, we've actually come to Bartow and done a couple different youth opportunities. So we've gone to local schools during their PE, taught the game of rugby, just hung out, volunteered our time on a lunch and being able to spend time with kids. And right now, practicing between, whether it's at Southwest Middle School, at Dobbins Park, we have a couple different locations that we switch between in central Lakeland. But we've had, 10 kids at a practice one time just show up that are there at the park and they want to play. So we'll say, okay, well, we're here for 2 hours, so let's spend 30 minutes, playing with these kids, teaching them the game, and then, hey, we've got a tackle, so you can't do this, right?
Yeah.
So it's growing slowly but surely, and I think within the next couple of years, we'd love to have that, because that is a great staple of definitely developing the community and also the game in Lakeland too.
Yeah. Speaking on the community, you initially when we went there, you talked about how you guys were involved in the community, how there was more than just rugby games and that's it. You guys do different things throughout the community and a community impact. Speak, briefly on some of the things you guys do within the community and the community impact you guys have here in Polk County.
Yeah, so within the community, we've done an incredible amount of things this last year. Really during COVID, actually, we took a small number of teammates and we went to a house in Lakeland and we helped to build a house with Habitat for Humanity. Just recently, we partnered with Socom Elementary School and we actually sponsored a new garden there. And then one of the big things that we're looking to start now is actually the Aiken Foundation. One of our longtime members, Chuck Aiken, is actually battling cancer right now, and awesome guy. It was one of the guys that has really poured into my life as I joined the club, and he's played for, I think, 40 years back in Greenville and all across the U.S. And so he's battling that now, and that's a foundation that we want to get started. That way we can develop, some funding to put towards whether it's cancer efforts or just charity within the city of Lakeland. So those are some of the things we do, and then of course, just day to day, we'll do small things here and there. We've done Toys for Tots and raised a couple $1,000s through donations at different scrimmage games that we'll host. And we say, hey, if you're bringing a friend, have them bring a toy with them. And so doing things like that during the Christmas time season, we can donate $2,000 of toys to the city of Lakeland and children that need it that Christmas season.
Let's jump back real quick. For a lot of folks aren't familiar with rugby. Tell us a little bit about the scoring. How do you score points, and how does all that work?
Yeah, that's the game. So you score 5 points for a touchdown, and it really is a touchdown. So in rugby, you have to touch it down, or it's not a try, which is really what the score is called. And so you touch it down within the end zone, that's your 5 points, and then wherever you do score from, you take it back from 5 to 15 meters, wherever that was. So if you're all the way on the right of the field, 30 meters right of the goalpost, you've got to bring it back 5 to 15 meters, and then that 30 meters right or left wherever you scored. So it makes good sense to score it as central as you can. So if you're watching on TV, if you watch the pros, whenever they get a breakaway, they're not scoring on the outside, they're going to the middle of the score. It's going to make that kick easy. And then some games will come down to that 2-point kick. So unlike football, it's going to be a 2-point kick. Kicks are weighted a little bit more importantly than American football, which is just the 6+1. And then of course a field goal is 3. Rugby actually similarly is 3 for a drop kick field goal as well. And so if you've got a penalty, you can drop kick, you can place kick, and kick for 3. But if it's a score and then a kick after, it'll be 5+2.
You got the math straightened out there, Gerald?
I'm still working on it.
Okay.
In regards to, that point in regards to kicking and how important it is, that's everybody. Whoever scores is kicking. So it's not like American football where, you got a guy who's dedicated kicking and that's all he does. You got to, top to bottom, if you're on the team, you better know how to kick, right?
Absolutely. I think that's actually one of my favorite parts about rugby is every player is learning every element. So you can't get away just being big. You have to know how to tackle, you have to know how to run. Sometimes you might even have to kick. We do have a guy that's one of our better kickers. His name's Jack, and he's from overseas, so he's got this wicked accent, and you can tell he grew up playing the sport. And for him, it comes naturally. For me, not so much, but he didn't play in a few games last year, so I had to just stay 30 minutes extra after practice and learn. In the case he wouldn't be there, somebody had to kick. So even a guy as big as me is sometimes taking those kick afters, and yeah, big or small, guys are learning every part of the field.
Yeah.
Structure here in Florida, we just got a couple of seconds left, but you have Olympic governing body, or in Boulder, and then you have state federations, and then now down to the local clubs and so on and so forth. How does that, does that pretty accurately sum up the way the organizational structure is for the sport of rugby?
Yeah, that's right. So there's USA Rugby, and then it goes through to, there's actually Major League Rugby now, which has really gotten big and offering a lot of professional contracts in the U.S., and then Florida Rugby, which is going to be different club levels, collegiate levels. They compete with one another. So we'll play some of the best teams. We'll play some of the developing teams, and there are teams all over the place. There are masters clubs, which are older gentlemen, women's teams, high school teams, all in the state of Florida. So there really is a lot of diversity just within the state of Florida.
Yeah, that sounds great. You know, I've always loved rugby, you know, but I've never played rugby. And so, you know, 45 like I am, there's still hope, right?
Absolutely, right. Yeah.
I'm a funny guy sometimes, right, Gerald?
You let me know when you're going out, and I'll come and watch.
You got it. Okay. Hey, Tyler, thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it, and make sure we get some of those schedules, because we'd certainly like to be able to come out and, you know, take a look at it.
Definitely. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, one of the sports that has just blossomed here as well in Polk County, although because of the outdoor nature of our county, you know, hunting and fishing and so on, shooting sports has always been extremely popular, but there is a world-renowned shooting academy in Frostproof, or just a little bit east of Frostproof, I should say, and that's called the Universal Shooting Academy. Well, they hosted a while back the United States, I got to think about this, the United States Practical Shooting Association National Championships. Now these are handguns. This is really cool stuff. Check this out. We have a lot of events. You can also check us out at centralfloridasports.com for more of these types of events. For now, Universal Shooting Academy and the National Championships in pistol shooting. We'll be back right after this.
There are 3 matches here this week. The first one is for pistols and carbines with optic sights on them. That's called optics. The one that starts tomorrow on Tuesday is factory gun, and that's for production type pistols and single stack 1911s. And the last one is limited 10 and revolver. So a little bit of something for everyone, regardless of what type of handgun you own. We have a sports division for it. We have been in Frostproof here at Universal Shooting Academy many times over the years. This particular event is the largest one that we've ever put on in the history of our organization, and is second to Universal Shooting Academy only to the 2014 IPSC World Shoot, which we hope to do again in the future. We have competitors here from all 50 states and from several foreign countries, definitely every continent, South America, Europe, Africa, lots of island countries who are joining us, and we sometimes reciprocate and join them in their venues.
So I've been a competitive shooter now for 7 years. I am only 23, so I've been doing this pretty much my entire life. I'm actually a 3rd generation competitive shooter. My grandfather was the first person to ever win, the first civilian to ever win Camp Perry, which was a really prestigious bullseye shooting competition. Then my mother is a professional shooter, my father's a professional shooter. I was literally born and raised on a shooting range. So yeah, there were a lot of options for me in the world, but shooting's where my passion is and what my family has done.
So competitors from all over the United States are competing here in the national championship. That ranges from several national champions who've won here before, all the way down to new competitors who are coming to the nationals for the first time. And the road to the nationals for the top tier competitors is a hard-trained, hard-fought, long process where they work year-round to hone their skills to get a national championship. We have a few hundred competitors that will shoot all of our national championships regardless of where they are or when they are.
So I compete full-time professionally. So I am out of town competing about 180 days out of the year. This year I've gotten to go to France. Next year I'll be traveling all over the world again. I shoot in a ton of different divisions and styles of competition, but for here, I'm shooting what's called PCC, which is a pistol caliber carbine. So it's a rifle that shoots a little pistol bullet. And it's pretty much my favorite thing to do because you can shoot it super fast. I mean, I get a ton of ammo, I run around, I just blaze everything down. But this is my second time coming to nationals, so I'm defending my ladies title this year, and hopefully I'll be in the top 10. Really, that's my goal. I was able to do that last year and be the first woman to make it in top 10 in PCC. So I want to defend that again, even though it's not an official title. It's my personal goal.
One of the key reasons we come to beautiful Central Florida, and specifically to Polk County and Universal Shooting Academy, is the cooperation that we get from tourism and sports marketing, and also from the hotels, restaurants, stores, businesses, from not only from the government side but also from the privately owned side. And because of that, when we come here to spend our money for the 9-day event, and some of our people are here as long as 18 days, we inject a lot of money in the local economy. And when we do that, the people here, we really feel welcome with them. We feel like that they want our money and they want us to be here. And so I've been coming here so long that I feel like I know all of these merchants by name.
Hey everybody, and welcome to segment number 3 of Sports Central. I'm Mark Jackson. To my right, Gerald Richardson, and our third guest of the today's show, that is Tony Camarillo. But before, I think faster than I can say.
Before we get to that,
yeah.
Our segment sponsor, our friends there at Office Furniture Depot. Anytime you're looking for office furniture, those guys got a great supply of,
David Bowles
different
is a great
options.
guy.
Yep.
Yeah, just good people over there.
Yep.
You know, and if you want a pleasant experience, you go to Office Depot. I mean, these guys are. It isn't just office stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they got a lot of other things in there too. So make sure you check them out. Say hi to David for us. Well, Tony, it's great to see you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's great to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah, your name came up this morning in a meeting. We're talking about how well-rounded you are in all sorts of different things. It was a meeting, and your knowledge and activity in not only sports and special events, meetings, conventions, arts and culture. You're like the Renaissance man of Lakeland.
Well, that's what I came here for. Yeah, that's why I made my way to Lakeland.
There you go, from the windy city of Chicago.
Yeah, I built up my resume in Chicago and moved on down, and happy to share and in everything that I can offer and just make things better. That's what it's all about. And I've been really happy to be here and glad for the relationship I have with the county, especially, and all the support I get. So I certainly appreciate that, and continue to share my wealth and my experience.
Well, we're glad to have you. I mean, the RP Funding Center, man, it's constant with you guys. There's every weekend, every weekday, there's something, whether it's sports, whether it's shows, musical. There's always tons going on. So, I know we were speaking before we went on, a box lacrosse, indoor lacrosse, for those who are not familiar with the box lacrosse this past weekend. And but what on the sports venue, what do you guys have coming up on the schedule?
Well, let me touch on lacrosse for a minute,
Yeah.
because it was great. And the one thing that was really good about lacrosse is you really saw what we're always looking for the county and for the city is that influx of people from outside of the county and to come in here and enjoying a world-class venue and really enjoying their sport and finding a way to put a tournament on in this crazy time, and it worked out really well. And if you haven't seen box lacrosse, which is really like street lacrosse, if you will, it was quite a thing to see. But there was about 400 people in attendance. There was teams I think there were 17 teams from all over the country, and there was a tournament for one champion. So it was great to see all these folks come in and do this. And
Was this adults, Tony? Or?
it was adults. It was it was adult men, and they were having a good time and living it up and living their sports dream. So it was great. But we were happy to do it. I know we worked with the county to bring it in, and certainly a really successful event. But as sports go in the RP Funding Center, we're gearing up. This is we're getting into our season here right now. We have matter of fact had a meeting this morning with Hans Steinbrenner from the Lakeland Magic. Their G League team, the Magic, is getting ready to kick off their season. Friday, November 5th is the opening night.
Okay,
so
great.
we hope to get everybody out there and support the Magic. As you may or may not know, but the Magic won the season last year for the G League inside the bubble in Orlando, but it was definitely something that I think we could all be proud of. I feel like we've brought them in as our partner, and they're part of the atmosphere and of the RP Funding Center for sure, and of Lakeland and of the county. And just having a champion in our venue is good enough. And
We're doing a banner hanging, right?
We'll plan a banner hanging. And I think they're going to hand out some rings, so it's pretty cool. But the rest of the season was just newly announced too, or will be in the next few days. And then obviously that leads to our Tropics, our Florida Tropics, our indoor soccer team. Once we get the Magic season laid out, and we filter in the Tropics. And actually, we got some pretty good dates for them, so they're happy about that. And we'll get ready to kick off with them real soon there. And they do have, I'll mention, they do have open tryouts. On
The Tropics do.
The Tropics do.
Okay.
September 25th, this Saturday, and then again on October 24th. And that's obviously a big community event. As Mark, I know that you were interested a little bit in rugby, but maybe indoor soccer is something you can take a look at.
I've
at a
enjoyed
spry 45 years old.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. It's the Tropics that really put on a good show.
Yeah.
It's affordable to come. It's family friendly. You don't have to worry about any nefarious activity out there. That's a fancy word.
Yeah.
Just bad. It's just family friendly, affordable, and it's a great form of entertainment. It really is fun. I enjoy the heck out of it.
Yeah, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, especially with kids and the way they embrace the youth leagues and how that's a big part of their marketing and message. And these kids come out and really can see these are world-class athletes right here in the RP Funding Center and in Lakeland. So I would encourage people, if you haven't had a chance to see indoor soccer, come out and check it out. It's very exciting. And I was the same as you. I was really not really sure what to expect when it first kicked off. But boy, to get in there and watch it and see how exciting it is just really worth it.
Super. What going to, I know you got a long list there.
Yeah, I do.
I say a long list. Probably a short compared to what you actually could have brought. But any other Broadway series or
Yeah,
those types of things? I know those are very popular.
Absolutely. Let me touch on our Vanguard Fitness Competition. Another event we work very closely with the county to bring in, and that takes place on October on the 9th and the 10th. And this is obviously a fitness competition, and it's not quite the same as some of the other fitness competitions, but it is a 2-day event, teams only. So you have either a same-sex team or a mixed-sex team.
Go ahead.
And it's very exciting. You've seen a lot of these things on TV. I'm pretty sure this will find its way somewhere in some video atmosphere. But there's 5 to 6 different events, and not only is it taking place at the RP Funding Center, but they're incorporating the Gandy Pool in Lakeland with our wonderful park district to help out for some of their water pieces of the event. So super excited about that, and that's just another one of those things that it's a unique sport. It's something that when you do it inside, because they do it indoor and outdoor, but when you have a venue like ours with the stadium atmosphere, it really adds to the excitement of an event like this. But obviously our Broadway series and the rest of our entertainment is kicking off. I brought one of our brochures to show folks, if you're out and about, you'll probably be able to pick one of these up, but you can also obviously go to our website, www.rpfundingcenter.com, and learn about everything that's going on at the RP Funding Center. But I want to highlight, obviously, some of our Broadway shows, which are Tony Award winning and Tony Award nominated Broadway shows that will be very familiar with people, including the Buddy Holly story, Hairspray, Rent. And Rent, I think, is a big anniversary for that show, so it's kind of exciting to be able to celebrate that. And then South Pacific. This is Broadway, and this is really something I like to be able to push, and I want people to realize that it's right in their backyard. You have an opportunity to see some really great entertainment, and we certainly want to see people come out of it and get a chance to see it. In addition to that, we have quite a bit of other world-class events. Mannheim Steamrollers, the Christmas show. Yes.
What
Chip Davis. Oh, you're going to have to test me on the date. I'll let you know when we're done here. I'm sure
that's like the bomb.
I'm sure it's right here. Oh,
Those
yeah,
guys are
definitely.
great.
Yeah, and then comedian Bill Engvall, Big Dad Voodoo Daddy and the Wild and Swingin' Holiday Party, Marie Osmond, another one you might be interested in, and the Blue Man Group. And these are all added entertainment. The base is really our Broadway series, but a lot of these shows are just really great entertainment. There's nothing that we've done in the 6 years that I've been here that I haven't enjoyed.
I always have a gas. I have a blast when I go.
Absolutely.
And world-class entertainment is right here in Lakeland. Tony, I got to tell you, you do such a great job over there, and people in Lakeland and Polk County don't realize how lucky they have it to have not only the world-class sports and all of that type of stuff, but world-class entertainment. So kudos to you and the staff, and really appreciate the update.
November 19th.
November 19th.
Mannheim Steamroller.
Sounds great.
Come and enjoy it.
All right, everybody. Tony, thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. And, we talk about sports and equity in sports and all this type of stuff, boys sports, girls sports. There's a young lady from Auburndale that really a delight. And I've had the chance to visit with her before on air. And her name is Emily Hart. She's a weightlifting champion. You need to check this out. Great action. Right after this, more Gerald Richardson and yours truly. We'll be back with more Sports Central. Stick around, everybody.
I actually started doing CrossFit when I was about 11. My favorite part of that was weightlifting, and I had a friend who introduced me to the weightlifting coach at Auburndale High School. I actually didn't go there until I started weightlifting, and but I met with the coach, and he was super nice, and we just really connected, and then I just started going to practices, and I loved it because weightlifting always had been my favorite part of CrossFit, and that's what I was best at, and I just felt like I really excelled in that. It took a lot of support. I had so many helpers, like my friends and family. I could not have done it without so much support from them. But I'd have to work out 6, maybe even 7 days a week. I would go to practices, and then after I'd go to the gym, do a workout or just accessories. But sometimes I'd do workouts like morning and night, and really had to focus on nutrition too, especially because I'm in a low weight category, and it's really hard to cut back weight, especially so close near the end. So I actually had trouble with that one time. But you really have to hone in on your nutrition, on working out every day, and you just gotta do it and stay committed to it. Well, actually, with doing school and with sports, sometimes it gets to be a lot, but I've always really focused on my grades and wanted to do my best. So I was actually top 20 at my school. I got like a 4.2 or 3 GPA, and it really does apply to everything. If you have like a good work ethic in school, that transfers to working out and vice versa. I just always want to do my best at whatever I do. Man, it took a lot of help, a lot of support from family and friends, as I said, but that senior year was so stressful, man, just because there was just so much going on with just finals and all the senior stuff, and then working every day in the gym. Yeah, I had to miss a lot of stuff. I had to just work super extra hard with all that school going on at the same time. So it took a lot of like sacrifice to do everything, I guess. I've actually been told that at my school there's been girls who came up to my coach and they're like, someone from our school, a girl, won a state championship. They're like, can I do that? Can you help me do that? And I feel like it feels so amazing to have inspired people, and just by being a girl weightlifter and the first girl in Polk County to win a state championship, or a state weightlifting championship. But it feels so cool to have like made a difference, or at least even inspired some people. And I just hope to do that with everything that I do.
All pumped up and ready for segment number 4, everybody. That was Emily Hart from Auburndale. I mean, what a powerhouse she is. And I had the opportunity to interview her before, and her mom as well. Her mom's great. And they, you know, from Auburndale and all this type of stuff. But man, you look at her and you go, oh, that's just a nice kid. But she's got some pipes on her.
Yeah, she was throwing it down.
Yeah, I mean, that was a heck of a clean jerk right there. Hey, our sponsor, and this is sort of an update for everybody, and I guess you'd call it a news flash or breaking news, but the Cabana Club out at Lake Myrtle in Auburndale is the sponsor of this segment, and the Knapp family, 5-star growers, and that whole operation out there this is truly a resort. I mean, they have dog washing stations, several pools, they're expanding, they have cabins on site as well as, I don't know, scheduled, I guess 400 different slots for, this is an RV resort Well, it became so visible and so popular that the Margaritaville brand took notice and approached the Knapp family, Randy Knapp and the crew out there, and said, hey, we're interested in branding your RV resort Margaritaville. This was about 9 months ago. Just the other day, the deal was done and the announcement was made. Cabana Club RV Resort and Cabins will now be Margaritaville Resort and Cabins in Auburndale, Florida. So big name coming to Polk County, everybody. Check that out. Cabana Club, and soon, I believe it's January 1st, will be Margaritaville. So,
yeah, beautiful place out there.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Beautiful place.
Yeah. In fact, Ken Suarez is doing a special segment out there right now as we speak. Yeah. But
wonderful.
I'm happy to be here. I had to pass that off to Chris Keprios. He does a great job for us. Well, Gerald, we got some hot stuff coming up. We've only got like a couple of minutes here. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of events going on this weekend and the coming weekends, but FYSA State Cup this weekend, the opening weekend of Youth Soccer State Cup, their big event for the year. A couple softball events. USA Softball has their 7th inning event this weekend out at Diamondplex and Christina. And then the United States Fast Pitch Association has a very large event out at Walker Road, 300 participants out there at the Walker Road facility.
Well, I've got some running coming. We were talking about cross-country running earlier, but the Florida Runners Invitational, which is the largest cross-country event in the state. How many athletes are competing this year?
We're bringing around 3,000 at Holloway Park here in Lakeland, and huge event for Lakeland.
Well, you want to jump back to softball. You know, we youngsters with the fast pitch softball, but we've got the old timers out there with Florida Half Century too.
Florida Half Century's tournament there October 2nd and 3rd out at Winter Haven Diamondplex and Walker Road, and got around 1,000 people coming in for that softball event.
Well, you know, Tony was referring earlier to the Vanguard Fitness competition, and I don't know a whole lot about the Vanguard Fitness, other than it's sort of like a CrossFit Games, that type of format, but I'm not sure what the distinction is yet.
Yeah, like you say, it's more CrossFit fitness than some of your traditional stuff. But that's October 8th, 9th, and 10th there at the RP Funding Center, and same thing, about 1,000 people coming in for that event. So I mean, every event that you see, I mean, we're 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people coming into the county from out of town, out of state, and bringing people right here to Central Florida. Well,
it seems, for whatever reason, that softball is really popular in the fall, and there's it just seems like a ton of tournaments, you know, over the course of the next couple of months in softball. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yep, there's those that we spoke of. Then 9th through the 11th, another big event, United States Fast Pitch Association out at Bartow Complex. But,
well, there's a lot of governing bodies. National Softball Association, frequently referred to as NSA. But Gerald got a couple of people to thank.
Yeah,
and
special
we'll take it from there.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Staybridge Suites, Cleveland Heights Golf Course, our friends at BSN Sports, Holiday in Winter Haven, and Mabe Production and Installation.
Boy, they do a heck of a job.
Yeah, they do. They did a great job with the All Sports Awards.
And Hall of Fame, and some others. They will be doing the USA Water Ski Foundation Hall of Fame induction in March 5th, I believe. Anyway, our next live show, Gerald and Mark will be back October 8th for some more excitement and updates about what's happening in the world of sports, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us, and don't forget to turn into our sister show, our ugly sister show on WLKF. That's 96.7, I believe, FM, isn't it? 1430 AM. One of the most popular shows during drive time on Thursday night. So there you have it, everybody. Starts at 5 p.m. Again, next live show, October 8th. In the meantime, check us out, polk-county.net. And just click on the PGTV banner. This is Mark Jackson for Gerald Richardson and the entire staff at PGTV. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. We'll see you again next time.